I remember after the nomination of 1996, he even got a foot ruler to measure the people who were in Koro, and he said he had more people than Paulo Kawanga Ssemujju.
Wasn't that 2001? That debate was,
No, that was the Paulo Ssemujju, 96.
Mm-hmm.
I was a student then. He said I had more people, and he was very angry with the monitor. In his campaign, he kept complaining against the media that they were photographing USJ with big crowds and him with smaller. In fact, part of the reason I know of some journalists who eventually got employed because they advised him that for you, because of security, you stay far away from the crowds and you are unable to capture you.
Mm.
So this whole design...
And the journalists are not able to come to your side,
yes,
to capture the crowd and capture you in the crowd.
So this whole design of him driving in two crowds during rallies was a result of that. So the crime that Bobi Wine has committed, coming to the later, is a crime of gathering crowds.
Mm.
When Bobi Wine knows that Mr. Museveni is hysterical to crowds. So I agree entirely with Andrew that police had to find a reason. I don't think Museveni can watch TV today. In the last elections, including this TV, he was very angry at one time in the cabinet. Bobi Wine on TV, he's go to the toilet, he's on TV, he goes to the kitchen on TV when he was quarreling. So, but the crowds themselves have a multiplier effect in politics. I said here when we were discussing Bobi Wine, and I think someone was dismissing these tours, that things that have not happened before are now happening. People who lost the NRM primaries or who were in the last parliament as NRM candidate, at least in Busoga, they now felt comfortable associating with an opposition. They think they can win an election. When Bobi Wine was in Mayuge, he was welcomed by a former MP. We were with him in the last parliament. So yes, police and all the other institutions of the state in Uganda are run by Museveni directly. They are vulnerable. So when he tells you to stop a rally, you must find the reasons. I remember the Honorable Alan Sewanya and Segirinya were released by court in Masaka over all the charges. But Museveni, after quarreling a lot, police now had to find people, some of them I'm not even sure were murdered, and said, okay, now you also have fresh charges of murder. Because the man had said, these fellows, you cannot release them. So this Kasigazi of police and his statement, and you sympathize with them, because they are not the originator of this response. Hmm. They are just...
as Mwenda referred to it.
Yes, they are just being told, this must happen, you must stop them. Then they go to read law books, where can we hide, where can we pick something. But broadly for me, what bothers me is the civic space in Uganda. If you look, and going back, even if you don't go far away with the newspapers, with the civil society, I remember, I think the last article that Mwena wrote in Sunday Monitor was about the death of Mayombo. At that time, Museveni called Aga Khan. Aga Khan, I think, was busy. He said, you can speak to Annabelle, who was based in France. And that Annabelle was surprised that Mwenda and Kariejira were still in Munda. He said, what are these boys doing in our newspaper? Because they had written, and by the way, they are very good articles, both of them. So from then, there are things that Museveni used to allow that today he can't allow. I don't know whether it is because when you have young people who are running you, and the state has grown, the interests have grown, so the level of vulnerability surrounding Museveni and those who are around him also feel extremely vulnerable are the ones forcing them to do this. In fact, my own guess, the next elections, you may not have these rallies. Because you see, this has been a build-up. You are just reading this letter of police. There was one from Mukulaiji about the beret. Then the bombs in Kampala. Up to now, I have no doubt that these bombs in Kampala were not bombs by a terrorist. They were bombs aimed at stopping political meetings, the same way they threw bombs during the campaign to remove age limit at Honorable Chagulanyi, Honorable Sewanyana, and Honorable Kasibante's residence. And they said, no, this one we use for training. No investigation was done. And they did not attribute them this time to terrorists.
You said last week, you said last week that the threat of terrorism cannot be underrated.
Yes.
And you said it here.
Yeah, but...
Yes. So how certain can you be?
No, I said terrorism is real.
Yes.
But I've also said that it can be used the same way Museveni was using COVID to stop the competition from organizing. So it's not that it does not exist, but it can be manipulated. And this time, you can see even the posture of the state when it is under this. I mean, I didn't see soldiers walking on the street like they did last time when there was a scare. This time, the only scare was the statement that there are bombs in Kampala, and the soldiers went to there no more.
Actually, terrorism is real. The question we must investigate is who is the terrorist.
So the letter by police, and I agree entirely with Andrew Mwenda, this old Andrew Mwenda, not the Andrew Mwenda of these days, but the one who was resurrected
not the
today.
spokesperson of the MK movement. The
one who was resurrected today. I am very happy with him. That this is how Museveni does politics. He can't allow you. It is the same reason that Museveni banned political parties when he came here. It is the same reason that they enacted, was it Article 269, eventually removed by court, which was allowing political parties only to operate at their headquarters.
So statutory instrument number 1, Article 269?
Yes. The Public Order Management Act. Even the Political Parties and Organizations Act. I was in Parliament when it was being enacted. And it was trouble because at that time, the MPs, including, by the way, NRM MPs, because the trick was, if the opposition, the Ben watchers are the ones who are pushing for parties to operate beyond headquarters, Museveni will refuse. There was a connivance that Kagakagwawo should be the one to present the bill. But eventually they discovered that they had removed a clause that was restricting parties at the headquarters. It was removed by Parliament. So that's how Museveni does politics, that he must not allow you to organize. Eventually, if you continue, they will come and shoot at people, they will arrest them, then they will accuse them of sectarian. Because the thing that Bobi Wine said in Uganda are the same things he said in Arua, are the same things he said when he was in Bunyoro. Because in Bunyoro he said, you guys, be very careful with the oil. These guys that Andrew Mwenda has accused of corruption will come and steal oil the same way they are stealing money in Kampala, and you may not benefit. There it was not sectarian, maybe because Bobi Wine is not a Munyoro. When he went to Usoga, he was speaking about fishing, and he said, you see, these people who are Andrew Mwenda has accused of corruption, who are stealing money in Kampala, they are the ones who are restricting your access to the lake, so you cannot continue fishing. So it was the same speech everywhere he went, addressing issues that are affecting communities where he went. So when he spoke about